So, welcome to part 3 of the multi-video session for this week. In this one I'm going to be covering more about my MHs and things along those lines. Now, I will repeat several things that I've discussed in previous videos, and I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. I'm just trying to really instill in everybody what my MHs do to me, how they affect me, and just really instill in people what it's like to have an MH and give them the knowledge that they need to better help us or to better understand or empathize with us. So, here we go. In the first video and in the last video, I've discussed a little bit about my MHs. So, I will go into every MH that I have rather than just listing a couple of them. So, the biggest one that I have is rapid cycling bipolar with paranoid schizophrenic tendencies. I also have borderline personality disorder. I have severe social anxiety as well as just straight up anxiety. I have, now these ones kind of are on the lines of being an MH and on the lines of just being something like just being other things. I'm pretty ADHD. It's very hard to get me to focus on one task for very long. I start getting antsy and I start like shaking and I fiddle and things like that. And then, as I said in the last video, I have a history of anorexia. I think that's all of them, if I remember correctly. It's kind of hard to keep track of them all, so if I remember another one, I'll throw it in the video somewhere. But I'll go into each MH and how it affects me. So I've talked a fair amount about the rapid cycling bipolar with paranoid schizophrenic tendencies, but I'm going to talk about it again. So sorry if you've heard it before in the other videos, but I like to constantly reiterate things just because it's part of the way my brain works. So, for someone with rapid cycling bipolar with paranoid schizophrenic tendencies, our life is very difficult because 90% of the time we can't tell the difference between reality and what our MH is convincing us or the effects of our MH. For me, my moods can fluctuate 30, 40, 50, 60 plus times a day. And I'm not just talking about like little fluctuations. I'm talking about me going from being happy-go-lucky, woo, the world is awesome, I am unstoppable, to bawling my eyes out, completely hating myself, feeling like I'm worthless, just at a point where all I want to do is curl up in a ball and cry for hours, or at a point where I want to die. Granted, I no longer act on the desires to self-harm or to kill myself. I've gotten to a better point with that. I found better coping mechanisms. But it's frustrating, especially like I have the manic side, and then I have like the depressive side, and then I have extreme anger. Pretty much every emotion is extreme for me. Like, I just came off of a 3-day manic state. And then yesterday, I hit that crash. Because you're always gonna crash, especially when you're manic. There's always that crash, and that crash is horrible every time. Like, you would think you would get used to it. No, you never get used to it. It is like a ton of bricks falling on you every single time, and it's like the weight of the entire world just boom. It's horrible. Like, you feel like crap. Everything that you were feeling good about and everything like that just goes away. So, That's the thing that sucks about the mania, is it gives you a false sense of self-esteem and a false sense of security, and it gives you all this, like, abundant energy, and you're like, I can do anything, I can run a marathon! For me, I just go into super cleaning fists. Like, I literally, me and my roommate just went and cleaned this entire apartment. Now, there's still a lot we have to do, but it looks night and day better than it did. There's only so much that I can do, though, with helping him clean the apartment, because I suffer from severe back pain. So that's just the bipolar side. The paranoid schizophrenic side, it's hard enough being bipolar. Add in the paranoid schizophrenia, and ooh, you're in a whole new ballgame. With the paranoid side of it, I am constantly terrified of people. I'm constantly sitting there questioning everything that they're telling me, everything that they're doing. I'm convinced that there's some ulterior motive behind it, or there's some devious plan, or that they're talking about me in some negative way, or they're plotting against me, or things along those lines. Like, I have firm belief, there we go, that they're not my friends without having a reason to be my friends, or things along those lines. Like, very hard for me to trust people, and people say that I'm really open, but I'm only open to a certain point, and I'm open about my past, because I know that by sharing my story I can help people in some way or another, but when it comes to my MHs and how severe they are and things like that, I'm not very open with it, and part of it is I just don't trust people. The other part of it is I haven't come to terms with a lot of my MHs and how severe they are, or a lot of times it's also, I didn't realize that I had that specific MH. So that makes it kind of hard to talk about it. And it's not even just with people you know, it's with anybody you meet. You're constantly sitting there analyzing their every movement, analyzing their talk. When they're over at the other end of the room, you think they're talking about you. When they're whispering or anything like that, you're like, oh, they're talking about me. What are they saying? Are they saying how I'm a horrible person and this, that, and everything else? Oh God, I need to get out of here. And that's the paranoia. And I constantly live my life in a state of fear. As I said in the other video, I'm terrified that my father is going to come after me, or that someone is going to come after me, that someone's going to break into the house and attack me. And while I may not actually be in danger, that doesn't register to me. All that registers is I'm in danger. Someone is going to come after me, and someone's going to take advantage of me in some way or another. And I'm not doing it on purpose. I don't even realize that I'm doing it. I just know that my brain is telling me that I need to be afraid. And finally, the schizophrenic tendencies. With those, I will see things that aren't there, basically like hallucinations. Like, I'll see disembodied heads, or like I'll see these different creatures like running around and hopping around, or like I'll look up and see something on the ceiling that's not actually there. And it is terrifying, because you're sitting there like, is this real? Is this real? And if somebody else is there, you're like, do you see the thing over there? Like, do you see the person over there? Or do you see the little creature over there? Or over here? Or there? And they look at you and they're like, no? What the hell are you talking about, crazy person? And at the end of the day, it's true, I am crazy, because it's not actually there. The other part of it is the delusions, which is basically where you hear voices that aren't actually there. That's a fun one, especially because those voices are mean. They are vicious, vindictive, conniving, evil, treacherous. degrading, demeaning, just horrible things. They will tell you that you are worthless, that you're a burden, that you don't deserve to be loved, that this is wrong with you or that is wrong with you, that you're too fat or you're too out there, all sorts of things. They will attack your self-esteem. You're too short. Your chest is too small. Your butt is too small. Your legs are too long or too skinny or too short. Your hands are chubby. I mean, they will literally attack everything. There's no like limit to which they will, to the degree in which they will attack you. They don't have filters. They don't understand boundaries or anything like that. They will take whatever you are most insecure about and just keep digging at you and digging at you and digging at you until you believe those things are actually true. So your self-esteem gets worse and worse as it progresses because you've been convinced of this. And it's really hard to differentiate between what the voices are saying and what reality is. Again, just like the rest of the MHs, it's differentiating between reality and between your MH is by far one of the most difficult things. So that's the basics behind the rapid cycling bipolar with paranoid schizophrenic tendencies. With borderline personality, the biggest thing is we play the victim role quite frequently. We don't do it intentionally. We're not trying to get attention or pity or anything else, as I've said with the other MHs. With all MHs, there's not some ulterior motive. We're not purposely lying to you. We're not trying to get you to feel something for us. This is just what our brain has convinced us is true. There's several forms of borderline personality. Like there's the narcissism one, which I don't suffer from because most days I hate myself. With mine, it's more of the victim role. Like whenever something goes wrong in my life, 90% of the time, I will blame somebody else or I'll blame some situation. And a lot of times I don't take responsibility behind my own actions or the role in which I played in that situation. And that's always been a point of contingency, especially between me and my family and me and like a lot of my friends and stuff, is the fact that a lot of times I don't take enough responsibility or I don't take responsibility at all. So while I'm on that subject, on taking responsibility, to anyone who has been around for the bad sides of my borderline personality, who has been a victim of it, or has had some role to play in it, I am immensely sorry for not taking responsibility for my actions. I'm immensely sorry for making you out to be the victim or turning the situation around on you. I now am at a point where I take responsibility for my actions, for my words, for the way I handled situations, and for the way that I will continue to handle situations, and for the words that I will use and my role in situations, because I'm still in the process of, like, I have meds now and everything like that, but this is still an ongoing battle. Like, finding the correct doses for medications and things like that is a process, plus I'm going to be going to therapy and things like that, and so this isn't going to happen overnight. Just because I'm acknowledging these things doesn't mean I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be all better. So, what I need from the people who are in my life, in any way, shape, or form, is to be patient with me. To understand that I know these things are wrong with me, but whatever I'm doing is not intentional. It's not on purpose. I'm not trying to hurt you or lie to you or disappoint you or upset you or get angry with you or anything. Like, I'm not doing this for any reason other than this is what my brain has convinced me is meant to happen. But again, for anyone who has been a victim of my MHs, I am so sorry, and I take full responsibility for my actions, for my words, for anything that I might have done to hurt any of you in any way, shape, or form. It's never been my intention. It's never been my plan. I was never doing it for attention. I was never doing it for any reason other than this is just how my brain works. So on that note, we're going to go to the social anxiety. With the social anxiety, which I talked about a little bit, I believe in the first video, I gave a pretty good idea of that. But one of the biggest things with social anxiety is it makes it very, very difficult for us to relate to people, and people don't understand us because they think that we are just introverts, or we're snobby, or things along those lines. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm trying to find something that I think really applies to what I am currently talking about. I just gotta find it. I have a lot of pictures on my phone, so, because I save a lot of quotes and things like that, because for me, if I relate to a quote in some way or another, I save it, because eventually what I want to do is take the quotes and turn them into wallpaper and wrap an entire room with the quotes, which is going to be my my reflection room, my meditation room, everything like that. So this way, I'm surrounding myself with positivity and everything along those lines. So, let's see. But yeah, with my social anxiety, okay, here we go. I found the picture. This is actually pretty accurate to what social anxiety is like. I'll go into a little bit more detail. So, social anxiety, how it really is. At home, you're a badass. Aggressively dancing around your room with a hairbrush, microphone, singing Blink-182 in your underwear, or doing something crazy, whatever it is, but you usually are like, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm so freaking cool. I'm gonna sit here and sing to the top of my lungs, or dance around like a crazy person, or whatever. And for some people, they reveal their true insanity on Tumblr. I have a Tumblr. I hardly ever use it. I have Instagram. I hardly ever use it. I don't really, I use my Facebook, but I don't really use it in regards to my MH except for the Ruby Rainbow page. So I usually just post funny videos or pictures that I think people would relate to and things like that. However, that's when we're at home. In public, we're sitting there looking at everybody like, oh God, don't look at me. Don't look at me. No, don't talk to me. Don't see me. I'm not here. Oh God, don't touch me. No, seriously, don't touch me. Like, I'm very, don't touch me. I have a bubble. Stay out of my bubble. I don't like people. Like, I have to really know you and really be comfortable with you before I'm at a point where I will let you touch me. If you touch me, I will freak out a lot of times. I might swing at you or something like that, and it's not me doing it on purpose. It's an involuntary reaction because I don't like being touched. And then it's also like, we'll sit there and we'll be thinking, don't ask me anything. Please don't ask me anything. Just don't. No. Just you stay over there. Yeah. Don't interact with me. I'm not actually here. Then like we'll wear a lot of layers. Like, as you can see right now, I'm wearing gloves and a hoodie and a shirt, and I have a tank top underneath this. My friends all make fun of me because I wear multiple layers. I mean, a lot of it right now is because my room is like an icebox, but a lot of it is also because that's part of my anxiety. Is I figure the more layers I put on, the less people will approach me, and the safer I am. It's like my little cocoon of protection. And then we also go, don't speak and they won't speak to you. Like, we think that if we just sit there real quiet and everything like that and like hide in a corner, that no one's gonna notice us. and we're not gonna like have to interact with people. And then 90% of the time we're thinking, I just want to go home. Now, for me, when I've gone to parties and stuff like that, I use any and all excuses to leave as soon as possible. I try to interact as little as possible. I mean, if I'm in a manic state, then generally, like, I'll be much more social and things like that. But it all depends. I don't go anywhere alone most times. Like, I hate going to the store by myself. I hate going anywhere alone. Like, I constantly have to have somebody with me because that's how severe my anxiety is. Most times I don't like handing the cashier the money or anything along those lines because to me that's too much. Like, I don't like interacting with people, and it's just it scares me. And when I'm home, I sit there and I listen to every single sound to make sure that it's not somebody like coming into my room, or that someone's not coming after me and things like that. And that's kind of the anxiety, and that's also the paranoia. Most days I don't leave my room for very long, except to go out to like smoke a cigarette or maybe interact with my roommate for a little while. I hang out with like a very select group of friends every once in a while. And I always tell people, don't ever think that, like, you make plans with me, don't ever think that they're guaranteed, because they're not. There's no such thing as guaranteed plans with me, because I never know how each day is going to be. Things like going to the movies and out to dinner and just basically anywhere public that there's going to be a fair amount of people is terrifying to us. Terrifying. Like, I will sit there and I'll wring my hands, and like, I'll get real jittery, or I'll get real quiet, or I'll get very shifty. And everyone always asks me what's wrong, and they don't realize that it's because of my social anxiety. Now, with my just straight up regular anxiety, that really just correlates to my health and stuff like that. Like, it amplifies certain health problems, or it amplifies certain feelings. And with that, I analyze everything somebody says, every action that they make. I constantly convince myself that I'm not a good person, that I don't deserve this person, or I don't deserve this or that or anything. And I overanalyze everything, especially when I'm in a relationship. If somebody says something to me, I sit there and I'm like, okay, do they actually mean that, or is there some sort of devious plan behind that? Are they seeing somebody else, or are they true to me? Did they really mean that, or are they just telling me that to make me feel better? And that's one of the crappiest things about anxiety, is you never know what's true and what's not true, and you spend so much time analyzing everything that it's impossible for you to actually enjoy the person that you're with, or enjoy the interactions or anything like that, because you don't know how to. So that's the basics of anxiety and social anxiety. So on to the next one. The ADHD. This is an annoying one, because as a writer especially, having ADHD is one of the most frustrating things in the entire world, because if you know anything about writing, or really doing any sort of like creative task, or any task in general, you have to be able to like, especially a creative task though, you have to be able to devote your entire attention to that so you can get it done in a reasonable time, and you can be effective and efficient with it and things like that. But when I'm sitting there writing, if I hear a sound, I'm like, oh, what's that? Ooh, I gotta go investigate. Or I see something like shiny things, I love. I'm distracted by shiny things easily. Like, these two necklaces, like, it's impossible for me to not sit there and be like, ooh, pretty. I can't help it. Like, I constantly play with these because they're shiny. I will be in the middle of a conversation with somebody, and something will distract me, and I'll just go off and go find whatever it is that's distracting me, or I'll just stare at it for a few minutes, or I'll start laughing or something, and the person's looking at me like, what? whenever I'm watching a movie, like I can't sit through most movies without fidgeting and without having to pause it like 50 times because I need to get up and walk around or I need to do something or another. So that's really frustrating because basic tasks are not easy when you have ADHD. Like, it takes me forever to get anything done or forever to get through a movie or a TV show or my my writing projects and things like that, or even like these videos and stuff, because you notice I keep like looking over to the side or looking at different things, or like I said, playing with my necklaces, or I have headphones in my one ear, so I play with those a lot. So that's the basics of what anxiety or what ADHD does. Sorry. Oh, I didn't mention before that I have OCD as well. That one's it's not OCD to the level that most people have. Like, I don't have to touch doorknobs a certain amount of time or use a certain number of things. Mine is more things have to be in a particular order. Like, everything has to have a spot. The house has to be cleaned on a regular basis. Like, when I was younger, I was really bad about not cleaning. Like, I was one of the messiest people in the entire world. And currently, my room is relatively messy and it is driving me insane. Like, I can barely function right now because it is so messy. And the whole reason it's messy is because we are steam cleaning the carpets. So a lot of the stuff is in my room right now. And plus, we have a mountain of laundry to do. So it's all in here. And I hate it. And my floors are disgusting because we just cleared this room out of a lot of the extra stuff that didn't need to be in here. So the whole thing needs to be like swept and mopped. I just spent all of yesterday organizing the bookshelves and getting rid of spider webs, which I hate spiders. I am deathly, like, terrified of spiders. So I'm sitting there cleaning out the webs, and every time I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh god, a spider's gonna jump on me or something. Like, freaking out. But, I'm also, things have to be, like, not even just, like, things that to be in a particular order, like, object-wise, but even my blankets have to be in a specific order, my pillows have to be in a specific order, I have to put clothes on in a specific order. Like, it's insanity. But again, like, I don't have that super severe. It's really mostly just organization and things like that. I do have points where I count my steps, or where, like, when I'm walking down a sidewalk, I have to do 2 steps inside the sidewalk, inside each, like, block, basically, before I can move on to the next walk. So, but that doesn't happen too often. I also tap things every once in a while, like when my anxiety gets really bad, my OCD will kick in a little bit, and I'll just sit there and I'll, like, either tap the air or tap a table or something like that in a very specific sequence. Other than that, there's really not much else, like, to talk about with my OCD. So the anorexia, I talked about it in the first video, I think. First video. I've had anxiety since I was 10. I am now 26. I have gone through periods where I don't have it, and I've gone through periods where I have it really severe. More recently, I've been battling it a little more frequently. It's started to come back a little bit, but it's not all conscious or anything like that. A lot of it is also because I just don't have the money for food because I haven't worked in over a year, and I'm in the process of applying for disability, and we still don't really have much of an idea of where my case is. Last I talked to my lawyer who's handling the case, they've been hounding the Social Security office nonstop for me, and and I just spent a month ago, like 2 or 3 days ago, a month from then, I was in a psych hospital for 2 weeks. And I messaged my lawyer and I was like, just so you know, I just spent 2 weeks in a psych hospital. Like, is that going to help our case at all? And he was like, oh yeah, that'll definitely help. So now it's looking like hopefully I should have my disability within 2 months, which means I can start getting the independence that I want. Like I can actually get my own place. Well, I'm getting a place with a friend who also has MHs and things like that. Just because we can help each other work through our like bad days and our good days and stuff like that. And I'll be moving back into Philadelphia because getting around there is much easier because again, I don't drive or anything like that. So I need something that's more convenient for me so I can actually like live a life and have a social life and things like that. I just found out today that I got approved for Medicare. I applied for it while I was in the psych hospital. So that's at least some good news because that means that I have insurance and I don't have to worry about not getting my meds consistently and things like that. And we can like really figure out what's going on, like my full medication cocktail and things like that. And plus with that, I qualify for food stamps. So that means that I'll actually be able to feed myself and things like that. So that's a major plus for me because the biggest thing has been not being able to feed myself. And not being able to pay for anything for myself. So when I get the disability, like I can actually start buying my own things and I don't have to ask people to help me and I don't have to like borrow money off of people. So the other thing, this isn't an MH, but this is still something that I want to cover in this video. So about a year ago, a little over a year ago at this point now, I started having really severe back pain. Now, I've had varying pains throughout my life. Like, I have a lot of ankle pains because of injuries when I was younger, and then I had severe knee pain from a car accident that I had gotten into. But about a year and like 3 months ago, I woke up one day and collapsed to the floor. And could not stand up, like could not hold my own weight, and started freaking out because it's terrifying when you can't even like hold your own weight and you're trying so hard to get up and walk, and it's even just moving your legs, like laying down on the floor and moving your legs from a straight position to a bent position, it's killing you. So my friend helped me down out of his house and rushed me to the hospital. And they had me in for 5 hours, and all they did was give me Dilaudid, and that was it, and then release me, because I didn't have insurance. So, around a week later, I was still having severe pain. Every step was painful. My back felt like it was on fire. There wasn't a single part of my back that wasn't hurting, and it was like, it was even going down into like my arms and my legs, and I was like, okay, this is not something small. Like, this is not just like a pinched nerve or something like that. Like, this is something that I have to have looked at. So my friend takes me to Jefferson. And they also pumped me full of Dilaudid and stuff like that. And then originally they were going to send me for a with contrast MRI. But at some point they made the decision to not send me for a with contrast MRI, so they gave me some Flexeril and some Paxil because I am terrified of small spaces. I have claustrophobia. And they sent me for an MRI. And then 20 minutes after the MRI, I came back from the MRI and they gave me more Dilaudid because I was in such severe pain. So at that point I had 3 full doses of Dilaudid in me, Flexeril and Paxil all in my system. And 20 minutes after I came back from the MRI, they released me. They were like, oh, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. Nothing showed up on the MRI. And had me walk into the hospital. I could barely walk at this point, keep in mind. And that's without the medications, because I also hadn't slept in like 4 days. I hadn't eaten in 24 hours. And I just spent 17 hours in the emergency room. And my back was still hurting. So it's not like I was any better from the amount of medications pumping through my system, plus all those meds pumping through my system were making me real, like, lightheaded and stuff like that. So I somehow managed to actually get myself out of the hospital. And my friend picks me up, and we come back home, and I've just kind of been in this weird little limbo state ever since then. There are good days, and there are bad days. There are some days where the pain is so severe that I don't get out of bed. There are other days where I can move around just fine. I'm not in pain. I can actually, like, walk a fair distance and everything like that. I can jump around and do activities and stuff like that. But those days don't happen very often. And there's certain people who I know or who I have known who think that I'm exaggerating this, or that I'm doing this for attention, or that this is derived from the amount of, like, stress that I've gone through over the last couple months, because in September 20th, my grandfather passed away, and he was the single most important person in my life. That's actually what this necklace right here is. This is actually a vial with his ashes in it. And then my mom gave me his coin from when he was in the Navy. He was a senior chief petty officer. And so, like, my grandfather and I were very close. When he died, that just, like, destroyed my world. I still haven't fully dealt with it either. Plus, at that same time, I had left my one place that I was living at to move into the city with someone I barely knew. And a bunch of other things were going on. So some people think that the whole reason that my back pain is as bad as it is, because it's been getting worse over the last couple months, is because of my MHs and because of the amount of stress that I'm under. And while there may be some truth to that, because MHs do cause severe pain and things like that, and extreme stress and all of that will cause severe pain. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is I've been experiencing this pain for over a year now. And every day is different. There are some days where the smallest movement makes me want to bawl because I'm in so much pain and it sends fire through my entire body. Then there's other days where I'm perfectly fine. So part of my goal when I get my my card in the mail for my insurance is I'm going to go to the doctors, and just to be on the safe side, I'm going to rule out any physical reasons behind the pain before I just chalk it up to stress and my MHs, because I want to make sure that there isn't something going on physically with me that is causing this, and that it really is just the amount of stress that I've been under and just a side effect of my MHs. So, because I don't want to just assume that it's a side effect of my MHs and a side effect of the stress that I've been under, and then find out later on that it is something serious or something that needs to be treated or addressed, and it should have been addressed. So I'd rather just be safe than sorry. I think that's pretty much about it with my MHs. I think I covered all of them. I don't know. I'll have to, like, sit here and double check and make sure that I actually did cover all of them, but I'm pretty sure I covered them all. So I think that's about it for this video. Again, as I said before in the Phoenix Rising video, we will be making shirts and hoodies. The prices for the shirts will be $35. The hoodies will be $45. I have to sell at least 50 of them in order for them to print the shirts. The profits for these shirts are going to go towards helping people like me get, if they, like, can't pay for their medications, because even with Medicare and stuff like that, we still have to pay some, like, we still have a copay for our meds. So it's going to go to helping them get medication. It's going to go to feeding them, because sometimes the food stamps only cover so much food and you need more than that, or you run out before the end of, like, before the next period that you get paid for it, that you get your food stamps in, is going to go towards anything that they need to basically get as close to being independent and surviving as they can. So the more shirts we sell and the more hoodies that we sell, the more money I have to give to my fellow MHers or my fellow abuse survivors and everything like that. So please, if you guys would be willing to buy the shirts, leave comments below on any of these 3 videos with a yes, I would like to buy them. So I know that at least when I start the campaign and stuff, I have some people who are willing to buy it, and I will, once I decide for sure that I'm selling them, I will make a comment as well, and I will create a link to it and everything like that so you guys can see it. I will create a link, and also make a video about it, so you guys can, like, I'll actually give you guys a little bit of an example of the designs and stuff like that, so this way you guys can buy them. You could also visit the Ruby Rainbow. Please visit the Ruby Rainbow Facebook page to learn more about what it is we do, to share your own story, to give advice, help people heal, whatever. Because that page is the other part of the Phoenix Rising project. The Ruby Rainbow is just the name that I use, but it's directly correlated with the Phoenix Rising page. So, again, please leave comments if there's anything you want me to talk about in the videos, what you think of the videos, if I need to address something else, expand on something, a topic you want me to cover, or if I'm talking too fast in the videos or anything like that, whether or not you'd buy the shirts, if you want to learn more about Phoenix Rising, pretty much anything. Just keep it positive. That's the only thing I ask. But this video is longer than I wanted it to be, so I'm going to end it there. Again, let us know about the shirts, please. I know they're a little expensive, but they're going to a great cause. Please help us out. It is the time of giving and the holiday season, so please help us with this. This is something that is very near and dear and important to me. Other than that, have a wonderful night. Enjoy your holiday season, and enjoy whatever sports team you have playing tomorrow. Tomorrow for us it's the Eagles and Cowboys, and obviously go Eagles. And then my 49ers are playing the Seahawks, so go 49ers. Other than that, have a wonderful night, guys.